So this video post is about, whether to build a solution or buy a solution, right? I mean, often in the IT world, when there is a need for a new system, there is a need for a new software, right? There is a need for a new IT infrastructure. It's a very important decision to make whether to buy it or to build it, right? And it's always, when the scale is so big, like for example, Walmart or even Home Depot, $50 billion plus, $100 billion plus companies that are so big, the nature of the challenges that they face are very different from the smaller companies. I mean, they're anywhere from $500 million to even $20-30 billion, right? That's all pretty standardized businesses. Most of the challenges are something all the companies in that segment face. So there is a ready-made solution that's available, but if it's a situation like a Home Depot or a Walmart or somebody that big is having a problem, then they got to figure out whether does it make sense to build or buy, right? And typically it's from a IT organization perspective. The CIO leads it, and there is a specific team that vets this question and then figures out what makes sense. So having said that, typically what do companies do when they're so big? They vet. I mean, obviously, hey, for this scenario, does it make sense to buy or does it make sense to build? So what are the benefits of building, right? So if you're building a solution, right? If you're building a solution, obviously you have all the flexibility. So you're hiring your own team, you're hiring the expert that's available in the industry that has expertise in this area, and then you're putting a team together and then making it happen. So there are open source that is available that can be leveraged, and you can pretty much build it how you want it, right? But what are the cons in doing that? I mean, there are multiple cons in doing that, because it's a custom solution. That means it's specifically done for your scenario. It's not going to have the industry best practices. It's not going to have the industry best security standards. It's not going to have all the best in every vertical that's being followed, right? I mean, if you have to follow specific standards for this application, it could be something like a credit card processing system, or somewhere touches some kind of a credit card sensitive information, so it have to be PCI compliant, or something like that. Then you'll have to implement all those standards, or find APIs are available to implement those standards and things like that. But those are the challenges with building. It's a custom solution. It's not going to have all these standards, and again there is a constant maintenance pain. What if a key person leaves, right? Then all that overhead is on you, right? So you got to manage that process, and again everything is changing so fast, right? Technology is changing so fast, industry trends are changing so fast, business models are changing fast. I mean, so when all this happens, how nimble and how agile this team is going to be to cope up with that and do changes fast and things like that, right? So that is the what and all happens when you buy. What are the pros and cons? So build. Sorry, the buy is the next. So buy is there is a software vendor that's already available and you buy it. What are the pros and cons? I mean, the con might be, to begin with, it might be too expensive in the short term, and you'll have to go through the process of vetting the best solution for your scenario. What are the pros? The pros is that it has all the industry best practices built in. It has all the security standards that it's already compliant with, right? I mean, obviously many of the public companies have this stipulation as part of Sarbanes-Oxley that they have to be in a supported version. I mean, there is always exceptions, right? I mean, you can make exceptions, and exceptions are allowed in a specific circumstance. But if you are a public company, and if you are a public company, you have to comply with the Sarbanes-Oxley, and part of the Sarbanes-Oxley thing is that you have to be on a supported version. Not even there is a problem. You should be able to pick up the phone and call that company or call that customer support number and get a resolution, and then keep moving. Because the last thing you want is during holiday season or whenever you're not able to ship your orders, and the whole thing comes to a grinding halt, right? That's the last thing you want. So it always makes sense to buy, looking at, considering all these reasons. But your situation might be different. But even there is a hybrid option as well. You could buy as much as possible and then customize it to your requirement. So there is still a external third-party vendor that's available that can support it. And by picking up the phone, you have someone that you can call and ask for help if something goes seriously wrong. So that's something to think about whenever you're running into this decision where, hey, whether to buy or build. And most of the time the answer is buy, because everything is available in the market, and even if you're leveraging open source, right? What happens? There is a bug in the open source, right? You have to have some kind of an expertise, and when you buy something from an external vendor, so that worry is gone. I mean, there's always someone to call, and there's always help available to deal with any type of situation. So hopefully this is helpful. Please let us know your thoughts. Thank you for taking time to watch this video.